Let's focus on gold in particular, because I think that's where we've seen a lot of dynamic activity, a surge in the gold price. Right now we're seeing it as a safe haven buy. The shares of miners improving, for instance. How's that impacted on new gold exchange traded funds?
Well, that has impacted quite a lot on all the gold exchange traded funds worldwide. At the moment we have about 1,600 tons of gold in different gold ETFs worldwide. New Gold has also performed quite well. That fund has at the moment about 51 tons of gold. From just to give you a feeling for the development of the growth of the assets. Since 1st of September of this year, we've had an inflows of about 800 million rand in new assets in the fund. So obviously, New Gold has been a success story for us.
I mean, the big issue, and that's something that you've worked on extensively throughout the year, is trying to raise the profile and exposure of these gold exchange traded funds, particularly New Gold, across the African continent. There was a listing in Botswana.
Correct.
Have you had any traction in this regard?
Well, we had a obviously, Botswana market is relatively small, and one of the reasons why we went into that market is to help them develop their capital markets. Basically, start with a liquid product that will attract more investments and make space for other similar products. We have about 100 million rand worth of investments, which is quite large for the size of that particular market. We are also talking to authorities in Nigeria and Kenya, also to bring New Gold in those markets as well, and we should be progressing quite well. So we hope to list early in next year.
I think a lot of people right now are asking themselves, should I be putting my money into an exchange traded fund? Should I just buy the stock of a mine? I mean, resources are doing particularly well. Should I buy the physical gold?
Yeah, if you just talk about the gold ETFs, you're right. Those are the ways to invest in the gold as an asset. In South Africa, it is not feasible for investors to buy physical gold because the legislation prohibits investors holding unwrought gold. You can buy Krugerrands, you can buy jewelry and manufactured gold, but that is about it. I think the consensus is clear that investing in gold shares, at least historically, hasn't been such a great proposition because the returns haven't been that great, and the risk investing in gold miners is quite high. So that's why we see lots of institutional investors actually moving funds into New Gold.
Tell us about distribution channels for these ETFs, and here in particular, how to channel the money of retail investors.
Sure. Well, kind of if we defocus from New Gold, we have at the moment about 27 ETFs in South Africa, most of them equity based. Those obviously do exchange traded funds, so anybody who wants to invest into those funds, he can do it through a stockbroker. Now, in the South African markets, in the retail space, most retail investors are still uncomfortable with investing through a stockbroker. That is associated with speculation and short-term investing. So the next stage or the next type of channel that retail investors invest in is through so-called investment plans. So most of the originators of ETFs have established investment plans, which is really just a vehicle which allows investors to invest on a small scale, once on a debit order once a month, 300 rand or more. But those are direct channels, so you have to phone somebody to get the application form and so on. Now, the next stage that is currently being, and I think it's very exciting, is that we have so-called platforms coming into the play, where we have advisors, independent or tied advisors, advising people and helping them investing into those funds. And we have platforms such as iTransact, ETFSA. Absa has its own platform through AIMS. even allowing people to move between the ETFs and unit trust, and that will hopefully bring new assets.
And very briefly, finally, I mean, the level of demand from institutional investors, because across Africa we see that those are the real drivers of the market. That's where the liquidity really is.
Absolutely. For some of our products, for some of the ETFs, they're predominantly institutional. New Gold is one of them. We have mostly institutional money. What the challenge is to bring institutions into the other types of ETFs. And I think it's a combination of two factors. One is bringing the right product for the institution, something that they would really need. I'm talking about pension funds. And two, our whole pension fund and institutional investment industry is almost organized around active investing or active asset management and selecting active asset managements and multi-managers and so on. So what is necessary for ETFs to become part of that picture is to change the mindsets about advantages of passive investing.